Hey, welcome to Random Report. Haven't done this in a while, but back at it. The NBA season is pretty much back on track, and the preseason will be kicking off in a couple of days. And one thing I want to talk about is my team, the Boston Celtics. But first, I'm going to start with the whole Ray Allen thing. To me, it's something that, Celtics fans haven't gotten over it yet. I can clearly understand where they're coming from. I mean, Ray Allen going to the Miami Heat was definitely a huge knife in the back. I mean, think about it for a second here. What reason did he need to go to the Miami Heat? He has a ring. He has broken Reggie Miller's three-point record. What more else does he need? He's not helping a struggling playoff lottery team to finally get a ring. He got that last year. So for every Heat fan who wants to defend Ray Allen going to Miami, I'm sorry, but yeah, you're gonna need something more than him not throwing a huge knife into the Celtics or even Rondo's back here. I don't know how bad their relationship was, because I didn't find out there was any tension going on until after the season was over with. People say Rondo has attitude problems, but in my opinion, people are saying stuff about, well, it's not only that, it's, the Celtics, Danny Ainge tried to trade Ray Allen through the season, and he didn't like that. Get over it. I mean, Rondo, early in his career, was in trade talk countless times. He got over it. Ray Allen, if he is so much of a professional that everyone claims that he's always been, he should have gotten over it and just played. You were injured. You weren't the best option in the starting lineup. That's why Avery Bradley got your starting spot. So I'm not getting the trade to the Heat or the signing of Ray Allen to the Heat. First, I was like, and I still kind of am like, wow, really? Because, like I said, he's accomplished everything he possibly could in his career. He's not helping a playoff lottery team to finally get their ring. He has that. He's not a legend like Juwan Howard was last year, that has done almost everything except finally get that ring. Guys like, even guys who didn't really have the best reputation in the league, like Gary Payton, for instance, because he was like one of the biggest trash talkers of all time. He didn't come back to a different playoff team, a championship caliber team to, get another ring. He got his ring. He was satisfied with that. He knew that he basically did everything he could possibly do in his career, and he retired. Not saying Ray Allen should have, you know, went for retirement, but there's other teams out there who could who could really use him. Shooters out there who are still inconsistent with their shooting game. Why not learn from one of the best shooters of all time? But instead, he decides to sign with the Miami Heat. And Miami fans are trying to defend that. How do you defend that? How do you defend one of the best shooters of all time who pretty much have accomplished everything? There's nothing else for him to prove in the NBA. How do you defend him going to the Miami Heat, a team that already has a championship? You can't. It was definitely an opportunity for Wade and LeBron to, you know, get things going, you know, basically along with Ray Allen throwing a knife in the back of the Celtics. But enough of that. You know, it is what it is. I don't see Ray Allen being the Ray Allen of a couple years back when he broke Reggie Miller's record. The fact is, he's past his prime now. And the decision is made, for whatever reason, that he joined the Heat. It's over now. You know, back to the Celtics. The retiring of Dooling, you know, I didn't really like that because it did kind of, to an extent, knock down some of the backcourt depth. Dooling, one of my favorite role players of all time, because he has a nice vertical. First off, you know, he can really get up there, dunk, block shots occasionally, and a nice perimeter shooter, decent perimeter defender. So, you know, I didn't really like that move, but I understand it. You know, he wanted to spend more time with his family, and I guess he figured that, you know, that would be the best option at this time. But that does leave that spot open at guard, and this is where Deontay Christmas comes in. You know, I didn't see much of the D-League summer game, not the D-League summer game, but the NBA summer league games. So I can't say too much about Deontay Christmas, but from what I've read of it, you know, he did a pretty good job. And, you know, Doc Rivers has kind of been known as, you know, the guy who doesn't really play his rookies. You know, Avery Bradley didn't get much time in his first year. Jawan Johnson didn't get much time. So, you know, he's always been the type of coach who plays the veterans more than his younger guys. But I think this season's going to be a lot different, especially with Avery Bradley still not, you know, in form. His shoulders still trying to get that back 100%. So this is the time for a young guy like Deontay Christmas to step up and show what he can do. Not only that, you know, a lot of people have, you know, laughed at the acquisition of Courtney Lee joining the Boston Celtics. And I've even seen on boards, you know, people picking at him and Rondo, you know, being friends or whatever. But I actually think that's a great thing. Something that I've seen, you know, on the court as far as chemistry go in the Celtics. A bit of that was lost, you know, after Big Baby Davis left, Kendrick Perkins left. You know, there was chemistry lost in the locker room. You could visibly see that on the court. Didn't have that brotherly love thing that, you know, was so tight. And so I think this is the time that comes back to the Celtic organization, chemistry and teamwork. And some people will probably sleep on them, but they can definitely become the Eastern Conference champions. They definitely have the talent to do that. Yes, Garnett and Pierce are a year older, but I mean, Pierce had an amazing playoff run last year. I mean, you couldn't tell that he had aged because of how well that he played. I mean, it was like the Minnesota Garnett just came out of nowhere and put the old wore-down Kevin Garnett in a closet somewhere, you know, or flushed him down the drain somewhere. Kevin Garnett, if he can bring that most of the season and then really put that Kevin Garnett back on in the postseason, the Celtics are going to be scary. Jason Terry on the team also brings versatility because he can do a lot of things. And he's another guy who can bring leadership and the veteran, you know, guidance to the Celtics. He's a guy who can hold the organization. You know, he can keep everything together when they lose big games. He did that in the Dallas Mavericks run to the championship. You know, he was vocal in the locker room, you know, telling Dirk and the other guys, you know, we're gonna get this. You know, it's our time. You know, we're gonna get this. So, you know, I know him especially. He's a guy who pretty much doesn't like the Miami Heat, and I don't think he's gonna have a big career year, but I think that he will definitely make an impact in Boston. Fab Melo, another, you know, guy that I don't know too much about, but you know, I think he'll definitely, you know, prove that he can stand against the top rookies. Who knows? Depending where Doc puts Garnett, you know, if he puts him at center or forward, you know, Fab Melo might even get a couple starts this season. Chris Joseph, he can also find time. You know, the main guy to back up Pierce probably is going to be Jeff Green. You know, if Doc plays him at the 3, he might play him at the 4. I don't know yet. So, you know, this Celtic team has a lot of versatility, and so I definitely think that this year they are definitely still a championship team. They got younger, and you know, they even older. They took Miami Heat to 7 games. Hopefully, you know, the whole ref issue won't be too much of a issue this season. You know, I watched the videos. It was, and even the announcers called out on some plays like, really, how is that a foul? Or really, that was a travel? You know. So you can watch the video over and over again if you're a Heat fan and debate about, you know, you're just saying that because your team lost, blah blah blah. But if the commentators are visibly, you know, looking at the plays and calling them out, then something must was up. Not only that, in the Spurs game, Spurs OKC series, and in the OKC Miami series, you know, there was some choppy calls, just to say the least. So hopefully this time around there'll be better officiating. You know, I know that to have a new person, you know, getting the refs in check this season. So hopefully not only, you know, the flopping thing, but they have the refs be more professional this season. No favoritism. You know, if one of the best teams, not saying that this is going to happen at all, but if one of the best teams is about to lose that last game that could put them in the 8th spot, if they're going to lose against one of the worst teams nobody thought would even make an impact this season, I'd rather see that happen than seeing, you know, one of the best teams win because of the referee and Stern think it's good for viewership. I want to see some of that competitive side from every team this season, even the Charlotte Bobcats, you know, a team who isn't taken seriously whatsoever. Michael Kidd Gilchrist, one of the top picks in the draft. I don't know how he'll do this year, but, you know, I hope he does something. Kemba Walker did not have a very great season last season, but at least he got through it. And hopefully him and Gilchrist can try to do something. At least, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but with Brandon Hayward, one of the best defensive centers in the NBA, hopefully they can be a 10th team in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference. You know, at least show some hope that they can get back to the Bobcats with Gerald Wallace, Steven Jackson, DJ Augustine, you know, that Charlotte Bobcat team right there. So, you know, I hope for success from smaller teams as well as the Boston Celtics this season, especially the T-Wolves, because, you know, Kevin Love kind of getting impatient. Not to mention Brandon Roy's back in. I am a Brandon Roy fan. Did love his game. You know, it was bad that he had to retire early and at a young age, because you know, he had so much potential. So hopefully the Timberwolves, along with Ricky Rubio back, along with AK-47 back in the NBA, that's Andre Karolinko for those who don't know. I hope that they really make an impact in the Western Conference and at least grab the 8th spot. Teams that I don't think have a chance in the 8th spots, the Utah Jazz. Not because they don't have that talent to make at least the 8th spot again, but I just don't see them making the 8th spot again. I think it's time for either Al Jefferson or Paul Millsap to go to another team. It's time to break up that duo. And as far as the Western Conference, well, yeah, I'm talking about Western Conference, my bad about that. But another thing about the Western Conference is I think the Suns will make the playoffs this season. I mean, they have a good team when you look at it. They don't have the best of, I don't think they'll have the best of chemistry, but that can be developed. But they have to have somebody step up and take the leader role. We know it's not going to be Michael Beasley, but Goran Dragic or Jermaine O'Neal even can take that leadership role, depending on what Jermaine O'Neal we see. We see the one who still wants to be the center of attention, or will we see a more humble Jermaine O'Neal who can be that veteran leader in that locker room? Also, you know, underrated Luis Scola, also on the team. Marcin Gortat, I think he pretty much maxed out as far as what he can do, but I don't think he's going to fall off either. I think he's going to be consistent even after Nash. So I think the T-Wolves and the Suns are going to fight for the 8th spot, or they might even go 7-8. Who knows? The Nuggets, also looking forward to seeing them do something big. They became one of my favorite teams last year. Ty Lawson, I won't say that it's a direct comparison to Allen Iverson, but he's somewhat similar to Allen Iverson in that he can, you know, lead his team to, you know, playoffs. And that's what I like about him. And with Andre Iguodala, I think they become scarier. Not to mention that they have Wilson Chandler back this season. So, you know, with Wilson Chandler on the team, Andre Iguodala on the team, Danilo Gallinari, Kenneth Faried, and yes, even JaVale McGee, they become one of the best young teams in the NBA. And, you know, they were the most exciting team to me in the playoffs last year. So I'm looking forward to see more of the Nuggets. Let's see. Don't want to run this video too long, but I'm gonna jump over in the East real quick, and the teams that I would like to see make an impact in the East. I don't know about Chicago this year. You know, they're one of the more uncertain teams in the NBA. While Derrick Rose is out, though, this does give a guy like Nate Robinson the time that he needs to, you know, do his thing. He can be one of the best scorers in the game at times. Sometimes when he's off, well, he's off. Nice to see Kurt Howard back in Chicago. I don't think he should have ever left. Atlanta. Well, I don't know about the whole Josh Smith thing. I don't know if he's going to still be there or not, but hopefully he will be, because he's, you know, he finally gets that chance to get on the All-Star team for one, because he should have been on there last year. But now with Joe Johnson out of Atlanta, he can show that, you know, okay, this is my Atlanta Hawk team, and I'm gonna, you know, make something happen. But if they're trading him like they're thinking about doing, which in my opinion would be the worst thing they could possibly do, then Atlanta crumbles this season. Philadelphia 76ers have a lot of potential. You know, Thaddeus Young will get in the starting lineup finally to show his full potential. Bynum finally can call himself the star of a team and get the ball as many times as he wants, basically. Drew Holiday can have that chance to cement himself as one of the most elite point guards in the game. So, and also Evan Turner can finally be more consistent this season, because that's the thing with him. Evan Turner is a great player, but the fact of his inconsistency is the reason why, you know, another reason why the 76ers, you know, don't fully fulfill their potential. So those are two other teams that I'm going to be watching in the Eastern Conference. Well, that's all for now. I talked for 27 minutes. Didn't mean to get the video to that long, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you liked it. And if you didn't, then, you know, well, you know, get over it. Boston Celtics, I'm looking forward to them being in the postseason, doing big things this season. So, and for the smaller teams, I hope they do well also. But for now, so long. I'm out.